So, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever had a big season last year. They had a huge season for the NBA, for the WNBA. Heck, they probably even improved the NBA with how much people cared about this team.
Is it not astounding that a rookie earned $36 million for her team in terms of sheer economic impact, not salary? Yes, the 22-year-old Iowan sensation Caitlin Clark just altered the course of events for the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole. One of the most significant events in the Indiana Fever's history occurred when Caitlin Clark was selected as the first overall pick. She quickly turned the Fever into the WNBA's most sought-after ticket after a draft celebration that drew close to 6,000 guests. The games turned into must-see occasions. And let's face it, Caitlin Clark was solely responsible. This is a franchise that hadn't qualified for the playoffs since 2016. After all, yet Clark made a huge difference. People truly took a liking to this crew, and they're a group that many folks were eager to watch. Many fans stayed for this Fever team, and of course, many came to watch Caitlin Clark. But what if I told you that she was the subject of more than just basketball rumors? It affected the economy of the entire state of Indiana. Dr. Rand Brewer claims that Clark brought in an incredible $36 million for the franchise. Yes, you heard correctly, $36 million. Check it out for yourself. Caitlin Clark, the stats are so astounding that they don't even seem genuine. Had an economic impact of $36 million in Indiana alone. $36 million, $1 million bucks. Let us now pause for a moment to reflect on this. That lasts for a year. The Iowa rookie phenom Caitlin Clark did more than just improve the game. It was redefined by her. I'm not only referring to her amazing abilities on the court either, I'm referring to actual money cold, hard cash. Let's dissect it. Clark is changing the finances of the WNBA in addition to playing basketball, and the league as a whole is involved, not just the Indiana Fever. According to Brewer's calculations, she has already changed the financial landscape at the age of 22. Additionally, according to estimations, you are in charge of 26.5% of the league's overall activity. Yes, you heard correctly. 26.5% of all WNBA activity is driven by a rookie. It's not a typo. One player is responsible for more than 25% of the league's talk. This is when things start to get interesting. Despite making only $75,000, Clark was able to have all of this influence. Yes, you read correctly. $75,000 for a value of $36 million. Surely the math doesn't stack up. Paying someone minimum compensation to manage a Fortune 500 firm is analogous to that. But hold on, when we examine the specifics, it becomes even more bizarre. Additionally, the league saw a 500% increase in clothing sales, with Clark ranking first and Reese second. Additionally, it goes beyond only eyes on displays. Everywhere Clark's influence is felt, sales of merchandise, they're extremely high. We are discussing a 500% rise. That is an explosion, not a boom. Who do you think is driving those sales? It's Clark indeed. What is the difference between this and the men's game, you ask? Let's put it this way then. The total economic impact of the NBA All-Star Game is around $400 million. And we're talking about the whole NBA here. As a rookie, Clark alone generated $36 million for Indiana in a single season. This isn't about the NBA All-Stars, it's about one player. This player isn't the NBA All-Stars again. Do you know the amount of this 22-year-old Iowan who is worth $36 million? This is reinventing what is possible in women's sports, not just altering the rules of the game. In addition to making a difference, Clark is developing an entirely new scale. What's the best part? This is only the start. Imagine what will happen if Clark can accomplish this in her first season. This isn't the first time Caitlin Clark has increased WNBA viewership in her city, and the league may never be the same. She had a similar effect when attending Iowa, propelling the local economy as a whole. We might as well refer to her as Iowa's unofficial government at this point. Do you recall that it gets more bizarre? Hold on to your hats, because Caitlin Clark is breaking records all over the place. We are discussing a seismic change that is altering women's basketball as a whole. They have an average of over 17,000 fans during the regular season. This is the first season in which a WNBA team has attracted 300,000 fans. On average, 1.2 million people watched her regular season games. That's 199% more than non-Clark games. Oh my God, 200% more. The Fever exceeded 300,000 spectators in a season and averaged more than 17,000 per regular season game for the first time in WNBA history. With an astounding 199% rise in viewing, Clark's games alone drew an average of 1.2 million viewers, almost twice as many as non-Clark WNBA games. It's not just TV viewers that Clark is attracting. All throughout the nation, she is packing arenas with people. She is responsible for 1 out of every 6 ticket sales. Nowadays, people do more than just sit on their couches and watch. They're participating in the action, cheering and turning up. Now let's discuss ticket sales. Please be patient. Compared to 2022, ticket sales increased by 16% in 2023. In 2024, ticket sales increased by 93%. That implies that the WNBA would not have reached their current status without Caitlin Clark until 2029 or 2030. These days, Clark's games are more than just games. Events are what they are. TV is a must-see. It's the kind of thing you talk about with your pals the following day and cancel plans for. Furthermore, it goes beyond the games themselves. Due to Clark, total viewing has increased by 300%, and Fever games accounted for 45% of broadcast value. Fever games now account for an astounding 45% of the league's overall broadcast value. Broadcast worth. One player is responsible for about half of the league's TV value. However, I was surprised to learn how much of an impact this team, and Caitlin Clark in particular, had on the WNBA. I know what you're thinking, but is this a passing fad? Everything suggests that this is not merely a fleeting moment, it's a movement. Clark is cultivating ardent WNBA fans. Week after week, people who may never have paid much attention to women's basketball are now watching. Thus, it is true that the WNBA was expanding prior to Caitlin Clark. Make that really obvious. However, it was expanding gradually in contrast to the current exponential rise. Additionally, this is merely data. These are merely factual facts. Be angry with data. Don't be angry with me, please. Just wait if you find this impressive. The viewership figures are merely the beginning of Caitlin Clark's influence, therefore we're only beginning to explore it. What's occurring with good sales will astound you. However, that is a tale for our next section. You don't want to miss it, I assure you. Are you aware of the recent spike in number 22 jersey sales? You're not imagining it. The entire WNBA is altering as a result of Caitlin Clark's apparel craze. Gear is flying off the shelves at the team store. You can no longer make this stuff up. Caitlin Clark fever has officially hit Indiana. Let's discuss numbers, and you might think I'm exaggerating because these are so large. Sales of WNBA products have skyrocketed by 500%. It's not a typo. It is a complete revolution. Although Clark's jersey is the most fashionable item, her influence extends far beyond her personal attire. Making videos is a little challenging for me, but tomorrow I'll make up for it with 6. This is when things start to get interesting. The league as a whole is benefiting from Clark's popularity. She seems to have a magical ability that makes everyone more exciting. The jerseys of athletes like Angel Reese are also selling out quickly. Everyone in the WNBA is shining brighter thanks to Clark's star power. A bit more radiant. Anyone who claims that Angel Reese is not the WNBA's second biggest star is obviously mistaken, but that is insane. What implications does this have for the league then? It's changing the WNBA's financial situation in unexpected ways. We are discussing a rookie who is in charge of 25% of all league-wide activity. Not only is that amazing, but it's also changing the game's regulations. The league is receiving an influx of revenue from this merchandising boom that has the potential to completely transform the league. Increased revenue from sales could result in larger contracts, better facilities, and more marketing. There are countless options. You're undoubtedly asking how much of this money belongs to Clark. Her rookie pay has remained same despite generating millions of dollars in income. Don't worry, though, we'll talk about that shortly. Let's enjoy what's going on here for the time being. An entire professional sports league is being transformed by a rookie. She is transforming not only the game on the court, but also the women's basketball industry as a whole. What's the best part? This could be the first step. Are you aware of her compensation for that $36 million? She received $75,000 in compensation. Is there a position in the world where someone earning that little money has had such a significant influence on a business? We shall see. Despite creating an incredible $36 million in value, Caitlin Clark is only receiving $75,000 in compensation. Yes, it is what you read. $75,000 for an impact of $36 million. It would be the same as paying someone minimum wage to manage a billion-dollar company. The figures simply don't add up. Given the enormous influence Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA, experts estimate her actual worth to the league to be approximately $30 million a year. Yes, you heard correctly. $30 million, the playing value of Caitlin Clark. When I say this, I mean it. And I'm being absolutely honest when I say that the Fever is currently likely worth $300 million based on all the money she made for Indiana, the Fever, and the entire franchise cost. And when I say it, I mean it. Her assignment is worth roughly $300 million, in my opinion. And I honestly believe that $30 million annually is being cautious. $30 million annually, I'd estimate. You may be asking yourself, if she's worth that much, why isn't she getting paid nearly that much? Everything is intertwined with the intricate realm of WNBA economics. Teams are limited in how much they can pay their players by the league's salary cap. Additionally, with the NBA controlling all revenue streams, the WNBA only keeps 42% of its earnings. Not much is left over for player salary. Just 42% of the WNBA is owned by the WNBA. Therefore, the WNBA only receives 42% of any contract it enters into. Thus, you can already cut what you would anticipate in half. You can cut any offer you see coming in by 60%. And that's the real amount of money the WNBA gets. The WNBA wants the same revenue split, so they say. They cannot physically receive the same income split as the NBA, as the NBA owns all of the league. Because you own 100%, you can give the players 50%. Let's consider the bigger picture. This year, the NBA rookie who everyone is talking about, Victor Wembanyama, is making $13.8 million. The worst part is still to come. In actuality, Clark is earning more money for her squad than he is for his. Do you think that's possible? Caitlin Clark made more money for Indiana than Wemby did for San Antonio. She also received 180 times less money. Because of Clark's enormous influence, everyone is being forced to examine the WNBA's operations closely. Is it possible that the salary cap may change? A new revenue sharing scheme, perhaps? Or would Clark's success increase WNBA funding, increasing everyone's share of the pie? There is no doubt about that. The entire discourse surrounding women's sports is being transformed by Caitlin Clark. And she's only started at the age of 22. You won't want to miss a moment of what is going to be an exciting few years. Everything was completely altered by Caitlin Clark. Have you noticed her actions? She was more than just a basketball player. She changed the league's entire set of rules. Everyone is now curious about what will happen next. Will the WNBA alter its player compensation structure? More TV deals, larger contracts, or perhaps a completely different business model are all possible. According to this small chart, the Fever will have more than 600,000 fans in attendance this year. At little over 400,000, the Washington Mystics' 1999 performance was the second best. Thus, more than 200,000 more people will attend the Fever's games this year. As you can see, the Liberty are ranked third on this list, followed by the fourth and fifth teams, and more than any other team, not just this year in 2024. However, just those two teams are in 2024. The years 1999, 1998, and 2001 have the other top attendance records. That's insane. The thing is this, it is impossible to overlook Clark's influence. She is a one-woman revolution in addition to being a good athlete, and she's only just getting started at the age of 22. What will she do in the upcoming season? Or the following season? The WNBA will undoubtedly change in the future. In addition to raising the bar, Clark took it to the next level. Now, all of the players, teams, and fans are participating. Basketball fans, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be an incredible concert, and the Caitlin Clark period is just getting started.